Yeah. Okay, what's the level of foreign investors' participation in the development of Edo State?
Okay, for example, we do have the governor signed an MOU not too long ago with Vietnamese farmers who are farming in Edo North rice, and the rice is meant for not only for export, but the byproducts from it, the husks, are being made into ethanol, which is biofuels, which could be used to generate electricity. It is also expected to create as much as 6,000–7,000 jobs. So we have the Vietnamese there. Then we have...
Has it actually kicked?
Oh, yes, it has. It has. Okay. They have been in the experimental stages over the last raining season. So they've seen that the soil is fertile and so on. And they've gone ahead and signed the MOU. And they've started to work. They've started to employ the local farmers. Now, we also have the IPP with Azura, which is a West African company. And that's to produce as much as 45 megawatts of electricity. And they want to build an independent power plant here in Benin City. And, you know, the spin-offs of having constant electricity. Apart from the jobs that are created directly by working in the power plants, there are also the spin-offs of the ability, if we have constant electricity in the metropolis of Benin. Then you also have the one with, well, I won't say direct, these are not really foreigners, they're Nigerians, but they're building a 4,000 lock-up shopping mall in Edo, and that's in Benin, and so that's by the bypass on the Sakwamba Road, Sakwamba-Abraka Road. They're building, and you know, that expands the city. The 4,000 shops will create something in the region of about 10,000 jobs as well in the city, and it helps to expand, to redirect the traffic from the center of the city to also the outskirts, and Benin starts to grow. So we already have that in place. We have the Chinese, Huawei, and they want to come in and build a digital campus where they can assemble electronics, flat screen televisions, and in the process train our people in the assembly and repairs of flat screen televisions, smartphones, and create a digital hub in Benin. So
sometimes, or most times, all of these are paperwork. We don't really seem to see the practical.
Well, you see, you can't set up a commercial concern, a successful world standard commercial concern overnight. A lot of these MOUs have only just come into being. They were in the last couple of months, and you know, it takes quite a while for you to start to see the actual infrastructure on the ground. For example, the shopping mall is going to take somewhere between 24 to 30 months to complete. So that's quite a bit of time. That's in about another 1.5 years. 2 years or so. So it's not something you will see overnight. But you start to notice from probably towards the end of this year, you start to see construction, and you start to see the presence of expatriate investors. Okay.
Mr. Idaevo, how do you think governments can assist private entrepreneurs to access loans from banks, maybe at reasonable rates, maybe like 1 or 2%?
Well, I think that this is a matter that has generated a whole lot of debate, because the Nigeria banking industry appears to be more interested in commercial-oriented investment. They do not want to give loans that can sustain development. What I mean is that if you think that you want to make quick returns, like he pointed out, some of these investments are long-term investments. If you go into agriculture, for instance, into cropping, not animal, you find that you are going to spend, there is a gestation period of nearly 6 to 7 years. And you find that the banks are not willing to put money in things like that. If you talk of manufacturing, you are going to talk of bringing in heavy equipment and all of that, you are going to need a lot of money. I think that the government should put a deliberate policy in place that makes sure that a certain percentage of the loanable funds in our banks are given to those who have this kind of long-term investment drive to go into at reasonable, very reasonable interest rates. I think that is the only way we can really grow our economy, honestly.
Well, Edo State government already has a scheme like that with the Bank of Industry. As much as 1,200 recently cooperative groups have been given grants, because they found out that cooperative groups are more able to stimulate and monitor themselves in terms of repayment. Because in the past, government has given out a lot of grants and loans and so on, and they never get paid back. So when you give them to cooperative groups, they're able to internally police themselves better. And by peer pressure, ensure that they pay back. So that has already happened. There's a scheme, the 500 million naira scheme, which is the government's counterpart funding, with Bank of Industries providing another 500 million, it's 1 billion naira, to entrepreneurs, microfinance at single-digit interest rates. So, but people need to know about this.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
People need to know that this thing. Well, there's the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and they have gone out and done tour, and they've spoken and they've sensitized people over and over. But I think we find a situation where, because communication media in Nigeria can be relatively expensive, the newspapers, people don't read that much. They don't keep up with what is happening so much. But if you do go to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, they have all sorts of incentives, from unemployed graduates, unemployed youths, to people who have already set up their businesses and who are looking for assistance in how to grow these businesses, and for export-oriented businesses as well.
But I think that in addition to that, when you say that there is fund that cooperatives can access,
and individuals as well.
Yes, I think that it is necessary that we also know what the cooperative is truly putting the money into.
Okay.
Because if you have funds for agriculture, for instance, and a cooperative comes to take the money in the name of agriculture and does not invest the money in agriculture, there is a problem. I think that there is supposed to be a mechanism to monitor
there is. That's why
where the money goes into.
That's why it's being supervised by the Bank of Industry, which just goes back to point to what I was saying. If the government were to supervise that kind of project, it would need to send out people to go and monitor these different accounts and see exactly how they're exploiting the money. But the bank is already positioned to do that, because the bank runs a proper credit check, and they run a proper system of accounting and disbursement of these funds. So the bank deals with the supervision of the projects, of the loans, and that helps with, the Ministry of Agric also has an input in that they help to train and to provide seedlings for the farmers. But there is a mechanism in place to ensure.
I think we are going to talk about that monitoring thing again, but let me just quickly ask you this. What's the position of small-scale enterprises and medium-scale enterprises in Edo State now?
Well, there's a board set up. There is an agency. It's headed by Chief John Adun, who is probably the largest private employer of labor in Edo State. And they have a scheme in place. It's part of the same, what I was telling you, 500 million naira is available. And people who already have projects, it doesn't matter how big you are, you might be converting yam to yam powder, or making small-scale plastic and so on and so forth. Well, you can apply to the small and medium-scale enterprises. Their offices are inside when you drive into the government house complex. It's the first building on the right. And that's where they have the Agency for Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises. So there are funds available for them. But they have to have a business plan which shows cash flow forecast, profit and loss analysis, and maybe some sort of track record of being in business for a while. But there is help available. And the governor realizes that small and medium-scale enterprises is the major driver. It's actually the major driver of the economy and provides the largest number of employment. So it's an area that is specifically, that's been specifically focused on and empowered to ensure that the small and medium-scale enterprises across Edo State are, giving the incentives to flourish and to employ people. So there is a scheme in place.
Okay, while you were talking a while ago, you said you made mention of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. That's right. I want to ask you, Mr. Idaho, this private partnership that we're talking about, is it supposed to be individualistic, or is it supposed to be brokered by this Ministry of Commerce and Industry?
Well, it depends on the objective, honestly. If, like we have said, once a government provides an enabling environment for the private individual to function, how you then go about the drive, it depends on who is coming in, who the players are. Like we have also said, if the individual has the means to play a part in it, the individual is solely in a position to do that once the enabling environment has been provided. Also, it could be a group thing. Like he talked about a cooperative. A cooperative, essentially, that is properly structured, will be in a position to also get to play in the business and be able to generate profit for its members. I think that is a two-way thing. It is not strictly an individual thing. It could also be a group thing, depending on what is available.
It even goes beyond that. You could also have non-governmental organizations, NGOs, charitable groups. You could even have communities, because what the governor has tried to do is to engage communities themselves, you see, in projects. For example, the communities help to identify what project is of priority to them as opposed to what is of priority to government. And then the community helps to monitor the building or the implementation of that project and also the security of that project. A lot of the schools that are in place today that have just been built by this administration are being secured by the neighborhoods in which they are built in. They set up committees of teachers, parents and students, you know, and the community itself that will look after these buildings, the physical building itself. So you see, public-private partnership doesn't only just stop at a commercial level.
Yes.
It also goes into the community empowerment level. And the government has been working with different community organizations, for example, the Face-to-Face Community Initiative, who are helping communities to realize the latent energies within them. There are communities that have certain assets, for example, Ulugbu. Ulugbu is a beautiful waterside place, you know, nice environment, and there's water. And the water there, the riverside could be used for water sports. You could build a private jetty there, and it could be used as a terminal for inland waterway transport. Now, the government itself might not want to involve itself directly in building a terminal there. But what they do is create an enabling environment for the NGO, for example, Face-to-Face, to go in there and build a terminal. Now, it serves to employ people. It serves as a point of commercial activity. And, you know, so it's not just government and individuals or government and companies. There's also government and NGOs, and there's also government and communities.
All right, thank you very much. Let's round off. Mr. Idaiwo, what are your recommendations? What message do you have to send to the private entrepreneurs who are maybe scared of one thing or the other from coming to Edo State to do something? What message do you really have?
Well, I think that the thing to really say is to say, look, government has got to improve on the security in the state. Let's see how we can deal with this kidnapping business that has become something else.
That's a thing of the past.
I think
you think so?
Part of the problem that we have, why we don't have fuel in the filling stations now is that
someone was kidnapped.
Some chap in Ipma, wherever, was kidnapped. And I think that beyond the fact of wanting to wish it away, I think that something concrete needs to be done about it so that we can have we can breathe in fresh air.
Okay. Well, I agree to an extent, but you know, government has already set up Operation Thunderstorm, which is a combination of the Army, the police, and the Air Force, and the SSS, and it cost government quite a bit. We bought them vehicles and communication gadgets. And you must admit that the rate of crime in Edo State has gone down.
Okay,
it has gone down. And
I think we still need it to go down.
Yes, of course it will. We have to push it as near zero as possible. But it is still the safest state in the South-South. It is still the safest place in the South-South. And this government is the government of Comrade Governor has provided enabling environment, security. He has the political will and the political backing to give all these companies. Will provide the land and will provide, you know, we have an abundance of skilled labor. So Edo State is open for business.
But what about the issue of CFO?
That one is also being fast-tracked. The shopping mall, the one for the shopping mall has already been signed. Okay. It was signed, and then later on this month, the governor is going to go there to turn...
That one is understandable because it is an MOU that some agency has entered into with government, or some agents have entered into with government. Yeah. And I think that you don't expect that a CFO for that kind of a project.
No, but the processes...
But I think that for the individuals, including those who want land for one thing or the other, there is the need to reduce the time that it takes to receive a CFO.
That has been done.
And the money paid,
and of course,
yes, that has been done.
That is another matter because government has no business being in business. The only business that government there gets is to ensure that you take money from it.
But you see, the fast tracking of COOs and the fast tracking of land documents has already been done. Because of the introduction of IT, it makes these things faster. People don't have to move files.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much for being with me
on
the program today. We really have so much to